me is the all-new 2020 Audi S8. It's the brand's flagship sedan. It's more powerful than ever. It's elegant, loaded with technology. But today, I want to find out exactly what it's like to drive on the road. Special thanks to Audi of Rancho Mirage for making this video possible. This car is actually available there now. I've got a link in the description below to their website. Let's check out the S8. The S8 is a gorgeous car. It's long, it's elegant, it's regal, it looks expensive. Interestingly though, it looks a little bit more understated than the BMW competitor and the Mercedes. You kind of have to know what you're looking at to realize how special this car truly is. Other than, of course, the satin mirror caps, the bigger brakes, the S8 logo, kind of looks like every ordinary Audi. But what you don't realize is underneath is a powertrain that makes this vehicle faster than most sports cars. We've got a massive front grille, which I love the design language of this. You can black it out with an optional package if you don't like the chrome. And we've got these optional laser headlights that have really cool turning indicators and a warning that lets you know not to stare too deeply into them. All right, let's pop the hood. Under the hood of the S8 lies the same motor that you'll find in the Lamborghini Urus. That's right, a Lambo motor in an Audi, and that's not the first time that we've seen this. A 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 that in this case makes 563 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, although it does have paddles mounted on the steering wheel. They all come standard as all-wheel drive, and despite the fact that it weighs 5,300 pounds, these cars are exceptionally fast off the line. The S8 has been tested to 60 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds. If you rewind 5 years ago, that's supercar levels of quick in a 5,300 pound luxury sedan with a heck of a lot more creature comforts and interior amenities than a supercar. So the S8 has this really unique comfort access feature. Apparently, when you walk up to the car, to the driver's door, the passenger door, and you open the handle and unlock the car, the air suspension actually raises the car quickly a couple inches to make it easier to get in and out of. The only problem is I haven't been able to make it work, and I've tried almost everything. So, not sure what that's all about. But in case of a side impact, it does the same thing. Hopefully in that scenario, it actually works. But each individual side of the car can raise a couple inches to make sure the frame of the car is higher up to reduce collision impact for the occupants, which I think is a pretty darn cool feature. 20-inch wheels come standard on the S8. These are optional 21s, which look fantastic. The craziest part is, in a luxury limousine of sorts, you can actually option carbon ceramic brakes on the S8. It's a $9,900 option. Unless your commute involves taking a detour to the Nürburgring every single day, I would avoid it. Doesn't make any sense. The rear of the S8 is one of the car's best angles. It honestly looks gorgeous. It's such a clean, simple design, yet classy at the same time. We've got this massive wraparound brake light, and then the individual tail lights actually have a really cool feature for when you activate the turning indicator, or if I click the unlock button, they actually use this animation where the turning indicator goes like this, and these individual little guys light up in sequence, and it just looks really, really cool. I love the fact that it has quad exhaust tips. Now, the exhaust tips are actually real instead of just these kind of fake add-ons to make it look like it has a sporty exhaust. Got a nice little diffuser here as well. And under here, the trunk is actually massive. I mean, there's enough storage space in this trunk for a family of 4 to go on vacation for a weekend or an extremely aggressive trip with your girlfriend to Rodeo Drive. The interior of the S8 feels extremely high quality. It's got a beautiful mix of leather with contrasted stitching. There's Alcantara all over the headliner. I love the piano black trim all over the front dash, but it also hides some pretty cool little features. Check this out, for instance. Over here, we've got the air conditioning vents, and they're not the prettiest. If you turn the air conditioning off, it actually closes, give it a couple seconds, and a piece of piano black trim drops down over the vents to hide them. I think that's freaking awesome. Now, down here on the lower screen, that's where you get all of your climate controls. There's even a button for different fragrances. They have a summer fragrance or a winter fragrance in case your passenger smells bad or you ate too much chili. There's also a really cool virtual cockpit right here. This view gives you a massive view of your car's navigation, but if you want a little bit more of a sporty look, you can go ahead and click the view and you can see the speedo and tach in a bigger fashion. Now, behind the steering wheel, we've got these nice paddles to shift that automatic gearbox. We'll test those out in a bit to see how responsive they are. We've also got wireless charging in here in case you want to put your phone, charge it up, a couple of USB ports as well. Sometimes typing in navigation into your car's nav is a pain in the butt, so much so that you end up using your phone. But Audi's come up with a unique solution to this. Check this out. So in the top screen, we'll go ahead and go to navigation, which is right there. Now, if you want to search, you can of course type things in, or you can use this bottom screen to actually write full words, not just letters, into the directions. That's pretty awesome, and it works really, really well. I've seen a lot of other cars where you can do individual little letters, like on BMW, but I've never seen one where you can write out a full sentence. Some other cool little trim features. We've got this massive kind of almost spaceship command style shifter to put it into park, neutral, and drive. And I like this little red accent around the start stop button. Furthermore, there's another way to control the vent speed on the Climate. Check these guys out. They make this really satisfying little click to them as you choose how much air you want to flow. All right, let's hop in the back. Now, because this is an S model, obviously being in the driver's seat is the best place to be, but the rear seat of the S8 is absolutely amazing, especially with the executive rear seat package, which this has. We've got these dual captain's chairs in the rears with controls to recline the seats, move them forward and backwards. Now, there's also this awesome rear seat entertainment that comes in the form of these massive Android tablets, which, because the car has built-in Wi-Fi, you can actually go on the internet, watch YouTube videos. The other cool part is you can actually take them off and put them on your lap if you so desire. I think that's pretty cool. This is the seat to be in if you're going to be in the back, on the right side of the car, the passenger side. That is because if you click this button that looks like the lay-down button on a first-class airlines ticket, watch this. The front seat moves forward, headrest tilts down, and then all of a sudden, we've got this footrest that appears from the back of the passenger seat for you to rest your legs. That is pretty awesome. Now, we've also got controls in the back for, of course, the rear shades, as well as the front and rear sunroofs. I haven't seen too many cars where you can actually control the front sunroof from the back. Now, if you really love yourself, we've got these massive mirrors so you can stare at yourself for whatever reason. Now, back here, we've also got little pass-through access to get into the cargo area of the trunk. Let's say if you've got skis, you want to put them through a ski pass-through right there. And you've got a tiny little storage box right here. Now, traditionally, there's another little iPad-esque device right here, but it is missing. Now, let's talk about speakers for a second. This car comes standard with awesome Bang & Olufsen sound systems. It has 17 different speakers, but for the audiophiles out there, for $5,900, you can get a 23-speaker, 1,920 watt system that sounds absolutely ridiculous. All right, guys, I think it's time to take it for a spin. Behind the wheel of the S8 now, and the ride quality is absolutely sublime. These seats are unbelievably comfortable, and the suspension soaks up bumps even better than I was anticipating. You know, given the fact that this is the S8, it's the sportier model of the A8, it's got more power, stiffer suspension, little unique styling cues, it still rides unbelievably well. You know, the S63 went a little bit too stiff. It's like, it's hard when you make a ultimate luxury car and then you try to make that ultimate luxury car feel sporty and fun. You can sometimes end up with suspension that rides a little too harsh. This air suspension is super, super trick. We've got a front camera that actually scans the roads for imperfections and potholes. And if it detects a pothole, it can raise the suspension, it can change the dampening to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. Now, we've got a ton of different driving modes to choose from. I'm in Comfort Plus right now, which you can imagine is quite comfortable. We've got an automatic mode, so it can choose for you. And then there's a dynamic mode, which I'm gonna put it in now, and individual if you want to customize it. All right, time to see how fast this thing is really. Wow. I gotta say, for a 5,300 pound sedan, this thing gets off the line unbelievably quickly. Now, you can't hear much of that V8 exhaust note. Remember, this is a luxury car, but it penetrates into the cabin just a little bit so that you can hear that grumbling V8 behind you. I think they did a good job, a mix of making sure it's isolated, but also at the same time, elegant and classy. It actually has a hybrid system that runs a lot of the electronics inside the car, namely the air suspension. Because it does that, it takes less juice away from the engine, and then it saves a little bit on fuel economy. Now, obviously, this car isn't the best on fuel economy, but it does have the ability to shut the engine off when you're coasting and also do cylinder deactivation. All in all, 13 miles per gallon city and 21 on the highway. Although imagine when you're spending this much money on a car, fuel economy isn't the biggest concern. Value-wise, the Audi S8 is actually not bad. Now, it is expensive. It starts at $129,500, but if you compare it to its competition, it actually seems to make a lot of sense. The S63 AMG, for instance, starts at $20,000 more than the S8 does. And then the M760 Li starts at $5,000 more than the S63, so we're talking $25,000 more than the S8. All right, so the car does have paddles. Upshifts respond pretty well. As suspected, downshifts are a little bit slow, but look, the odds you're using paddles in an S8 are probably pretty low. Now, this car has all-wheel steering, which is the latest craze in the automotive world, and honestly, it helps a lot in this car. So, as you guys are probably aware at this point, all-wheel steering means the rear wheels can actually turn in the opposite or the same direction as the front. So at high speeds, they turn in the same direction as the front wheels to heighten stability if you're cruising on the Autobahn at high speeds. This car goes 155 miles an hour. That could be useful. And at low speeds, for making sure that the turning radius is a little bit smaller, they can turn in the opposite direction so maneuverability is easier. That being said, just in around town driving, you can feel that the active all-wheel steering system actually makes the car feel a lot lighter than it is. We've also got fancy torque vectoring with the sports differential. And the car's suspension system, combined with torque vectoring, combined with the powertrain, it actually handles really well for a sedan this large. I'm pretty surprised. And the pickup on this thing, wow. Highway cruising, it's tough to beat. And even around town, like I said, it doesn't feel as big as it is. Maneuvering this through the city, totally easy. Overall, the S8 is a phenomenal car. The build quality feels extremely high-end. Seriously, the fit and finish is very, very nice in the car. Everything has a nice feel to it. Even the haptic feedback, the little clicks of the air conditioning, it just feels premium. The drive is nice. It's so isolated from the world around you. You really don't hear anything whatsoever outside the cabin. The screens are gorgeous, have great graphics, they're easy to use. The rear seat space is phenomenal. I love the massive Android screens, as well as the reclining rear seats, and that footrest is absolutely epic. Well guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's review of the Audi S8. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video. What?